Hi there, welcome back to another episode of Briefs and Balance. If you're new here, my name is Lylie. I am a Canadian immigration lawyer, founder and principal counsel at Lylie Law. Above all, I identify as God's masterpiece. If you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel to stay in the know about Canadian immigration and the reality of balancing life in Canada. Let's talk about your big day. The refugee hearing. The refugee hearing is not a mandatory step, meaning that there are refugee claimants who have obtained protected person status or conventional refugee status without necessarily going through the step of a refugee claim hearing. So if this step applies to you, listen up. You will be expected to attend your hearing before a member of the Refugee Protection Division, and here is what to expect. Your lawyer or legal representative will accompany you, meaning they will be with you during that meeting. Could be virtual or in person down the line, I'm not sure, but currently it's still virtual. And an interpreter will equally assist if needed. The IRB member will ask questions about your BOC, your documents, and your credibility and identity as the case may be. You'll be asked to testify and explain why you're here returning home, and the hearing may last 2 to 4 hours or be adjourned if more evidence is required. On the day of your hearing, the hearing is going to begin with an officer ensuring that the logistics are taken care of. The role of this officer is to ensure that everyone is successfully connected to the meeting if this is happening virtually. The officer would equally ensure that if there is an interpreter, that the claimant, the lawyer, and everyone else on the call is able to hear and understand the interpreter, and vice versa. Once all of the logistics are all completed and the Immigration and Refugee Board member joins the call, you'd be expected to identify yourself again on record. So you're going to state your name, your lawyer is going to do the same, and the board member is going to do the same as well. You'd be expected to confirm that nobody can see or hear you during the hearing. Same thing with your lawyer, and same thing with the member. And so before this hearing begins, you have the last opportunity, so to speak, to make any changes to your documents, your BOC form, your narrative, everything that you've submitted before the board. This is your last opportunity to make any changes, and the board member will expressly ask if there are any changes that you need to make. It's going to confirm all of the documents that you've submitted thus far, and if you say no additional documents to be submitted, no changes, we can proceed, then fine, the board member is going to proceed. But if there are any changes, if for example you made a mistake in your BOC form and then you remembered just before the hearing, this is a time to say so, because once the hearing begins, all of the assessment and the decision is going to be based off of everything that you've submitted up until this point. So during the hearing, the refugee board member could be looking to confirm your identity if they have any discrepancies that have been identified or conflicting information that has been identified around your identity or around your credibility in general. So expect a lot of questions from the refugee board member to establish your identity, your credibility, and the basis of your claim in the real sense of it. You will be asked to testify and explain why you're here returning to your home country. And if you're someone who has had to visit other countries prior to Canada, especially on your way to Canada or shortly before making your refugee claim, expect a lot of questions around the reason why you did not seek for protection in another country and chose Canada. The hearing may last 2 to 4 hours or be adjourned if more evidence is required or if there are more questions that the refugee board member has for you. At the end of the hearing, the refugee board member may issue a decision orally or reserve their decision and issue it in writing weeks later. Listen, this hearing is your moment. Be truthful, be calm, and remember that you should be consistent. You need to be audible and clear in your testimony. You need to ensure that you can hear everyone and everyone can hear you loud and clear. Now, if you do not understand any question, feel free to ask the person who asked the question to paraphrase or ask the question differently. Feel free to say that you did not understand a question, because it's one thing to provide a wrong answer to a question, and it's another thing to provide the right answer to the wrong question, meaning that it could be asking question A and then you give the correct answer to question B. So if you do not understand a question, or if you have any doubts with regards to the information that the board member is looking for or that your lawyer is looking for, whoever is asking the question, ensure that you say so. Clearly state that you do not understand the question. ensure that your mic, your device, whatever you're using during the hearing is functional and works well. Ensure this even prior to the hearing, because you don't want to face tech issues during your hearing. Now let's talk about what happens after the hearing. This is when, after the hearing, of course, when you're waiting for the decision. If you did not get a decision right away, or if you got the oral decision and of course you're waiting for the written decision, you're going to receive a written decision if, of course, your hearing was completed, and then the member mentioned that they're going to reserve their decision and then issue it in writing. Or if the hearing did not come to an end, it was adjourned, then expect another hearing date. But if everything was done and then the member says they reserve their decision and we issue it in writing, you are going to receive a written decision, which could either be positive or negative. Now, a positive decision is one that would declare you a protected person or a conventional refugee, as the case may be, and then enables you apply for permanent residence in Canada. A negative decision, on the other hand, comes with the finding that your claim is either not credible or lacks any credible basis, or for a reason or two, you are not considered to be a person in need of protection, or you're not a protected person. One thing, never assume that what worked for one person will work for you. Your claim is unique. If you need help, or if you need guidance through your refugee claim in Canada, whether you're at the start of the process, midway, or post-refusal, or post-acceptance actually as well, I invite you to book a legal consultation with me, your trusted Canadian immigration lawyer, and I'll be more than happy to assist. I do assist with the review of applications and submission of PR applications as well, post a positive decision. And post negative decisions, I do assist with judicial reviews, appeal before the RAD, PRA applications, HNC applications, whichever pathway that could be suitable for your circumstances. We can discuss all of those during the legal consultation. To book your legal consultation, you just need to click on the link in the description. If you made it to this point of this video, thank you so much for coming along. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into Canadian immigration. Until next time, I am Lily, your trusted Canadian immigration lawyer. Thank you for tuning in today. Stay informed, stay inspired, and stay purposeful. And remember, you are God's masterpiece. See you next time.